tonight. Air Canada and its flight attendants strike a tentative deal, but some Saskatchewan families are still stranded. The feds invest in wildfire fighter training in this province.
This will be a 42.
And Riders kicker Brett Lowther pledges to up his game.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, August 19th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. After days of uncertainty, a tentative deal has now been reached between Air Canada and the union representing its flight attendants.
We're so happy that we finally reached this industry-leading deal that allows our flight attendants to be compensated for the important work, safety work, customer service work that they perform on the ground.
10,000 Air Canada flight attendants walked off the job on Saturday. The agreement must still be ratified by its members, but Air Canada says flights are beginning to resume immediately, with operations at full capacity within 7 to 10 days. The airline also says 5,000 additional staff are being brought in to help with rebookings, with customers being given up to a year to make changes, and refunds are being offered where appropriate. Now, despite the deal, people from Saskatchewan continue to feel the effects of flights canceled by the airline, and a Regina family remains stuck in Newfoundland. Laura Sharpaletti reports.
The Lapai family loves their sports. They landed in St. John's more than 10 days ago for the Canada Summer Games. 17-year-old Joe Lapai plays basketball for Team Saskatchewan. For every game, his parents and sister were in the stands with flags and pom-poms cheering him on. Then, on Saturday, the family's trip was turned upside down.
We were actually at their final game, watching the game. The buzzer went, and just as I went to stand up, my pocket buzzed, notifying us that our flight had been canceled.
Bill, Carla, and Jillian Lapai were supposed to fly home to Regina Sunday morning, but their flight was rescheduled to Thursday. The family had to extend their hotel stay, which will cost a lot more than the Lapais budgeted for.
Or to check out Thursday morning is about $6,000 in hotels.
While they wait in their hotel room, their son Joe is already back home. His team took a chartered flight on the weekend to Saskatoon. Luckily, Joe was able to drive himself home to Regina. However, his teammates are from places like Yorkton, Moose Jaw, Prince Albert, and North Battleford, and that makes things a little tricky.
The athletes are home. However, there's a number of parents and siblings that are stuck in St. John's.
The Regina Airport Authority says this tentative deal means it will be able to sell Air Canada flights again this weekend.
The news we've received today is very welcome, as we certainly need to have this capacity brought back to Regina, as Air Canada represents in totality around 35% of the total capacity our airport has was from that airline.
Bill Lapai says his family is still scheduled to fly home Thursday. He says he's nervous, but cautiously optimistic he'll be able to reunite with his son soon. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Regina.
And another family from Regina is feeling the pain of the Air Canada contract dispute. James Numfor and his family were traveling back from Cameroon after attending a funeral. On their way home, they got stuck in Toronto. And since then, he says it's been a horrible situation with no end in sight.
I've been through hell. Yeah, it's that bad. We arrived here on Saturday, 8 a.m., and we're expected to take a flight from here to Regina. Regina is home for us. That's where we live. We came from Cameroon, a family of 9, including 5 kids. So we expect to be in Regina at 1 o'clock on Saturday. But here we are today, still hanging around the airport. 4 adults and 5 kids, nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep. Kids just hang around. They just sleep where we find space, where it looks a little comfortable. The first night on Saturday, they gave us a hotel room, and they told us, come the next day, if you do not receive any email concerning your flight itinerary, just come and we'll see if we have a flight to put you in, and then you go. If not, then we'll see if we can extend your hotel stay. So we came the next day, the story was different. Like, okay, we don't have any more hotels, we don't have any more food, we don't have anything for you, just wait. We still don't have a flight right now. That's why I was looking on my phone. And I just talked to some of them there. They're like, okay, maybe things might start moving better this evening, but just stay until you get a call or you get an email from us saying, okay, you have something. To when, we just don't know when. That's it.
To other news now, it's been a historic wildfire season in Saskatchewan, and for the first time in about 3 months, there are no evacuation orders and all highway access is open. But there's still a lot of work to do on the front lines. Now the federal government is investing in the prairies to train more wildland firefighters. Aishwarya Duda has more.
Ottawa has announced new money to train wildland firefighters, including here in Saskatchewan. $335,000 is going to Yorkton Tribal Council to train 35 community members. The program will blend modern firefighting techniques with Indigenous cultural practices.
First Nations bringing generations of expertise in fighting wildfires rooted in profound relationship with their lands and territory is a wisdom that is not only invaluable, but it is essential.
The federal minister says First Nations are more vulnerable to wildfires as the threat of climate change increases. Yorkton Tribal Council says the money will help bring back Indigenous culture and knowledge to preserve the land and protect communities.
It's a huge struggle, and our firefighters, our First Nation firefighters, are at the same risk as you know, the municipal ones or the big cities, but we don't get the funding that is available, and it's scary.
Osman says the firefighters will be trained in cultural burning, low controlled fires to create fire breaks and protect communities. She says the money will also help access safer equipment. The announcement comes as prairie provinces are on alert for more wildfire activity.
Wildfire season's not slowing down.
Drier and hotter than normal temperatures are expected over the next 3 months.
Forecasts point to elevated wildfire danger for August across the north and west, as well as parts of Atlantic Canada.
Nationally, more than 7.8 million hectares have burned this year. That's the size of New Brunswick. The federal government says it's on track to train more than 2,800 wildland firefighters across Canada by 2028, nearly triple its original goal. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Pierre Poilievre has won the by-election in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot in a landslide, setting the stage for his return to the House of Commons. The Conservative Party leader lost his longtime Ottawa riding of Carleton in the April federal election. Conservative MP Damien Kurek stepped down after winning Battle River Crowfoot in April, allowing Poilievre the chance to regain a seat. Poilievre will resume his role as official opposition leader when the House sits in the fall. The Saskatchewan NDP and a terminal cancer patient say the province needs to change its parking policy. Right now, more than 24 communities with cancer services do not charge cancer patients, but patients in Regina, Saskatoon, Yorkton, Moose Jaw, and Prince Albert are forced to pay for those parking services at those facilities. Dennis Ogrodnik is a cancer patient and a former Prince Albert City Councillor. He says the policy is not right and needs to change. The NDP agrees.
Saskatchewan is the birthplace of Medicare. That should mean that everyone receives quality and accessible health care. We do not support profiting off of cancer patients trying to get the treatment needed to save their lives.
I hopefully will see the day that they will change this cruel and mean-spirited policy and not say that it's a fair and consistent policy, because it isn't.
Ogrodnik says he's written repeatedly to Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell, but he has yet to receive a meeting. The Saskatchewan Health Authority confirmed it ended free parking in some centres in late 2023 and says it considers local demand for parking spaces when implementing parking fees. The Saskatchewan Jazz Festival is losing a major corporate funder. SaskTel says it will not continue as the Jazz Festival's title sponsor next year. This ends a nearly 30-year run as the top private funder of the long-running festival in Saskatoon. SaskTel has been the title sponsor since 1998. Now the festival is searching for a replacement. Music festivals across Canada have been slower to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic shutdown. They're facing rising costs of staging shows and booking big-name acts. But the Jazz Festival says it will return next year, but it might look different.
almost I won't say guaranteed, but it's extremely likely that there will be changes to the festival format next year in response to this change and many other factors. But they will be strategic and they will be responsive, and they'll be for the best of the festival and for the community we serve.
SaskTel says the decision is not based on any concerns about the festival. It says it is still looking at other ways to sponsor the event. Well, there is a good chance your neighborhood outdoor pool was the busiest place in town Tuesday. Wascana Pool in Regina was certainly the place to be as temperatures soared above 30 degrees. Finally, some consistent pool weather for the kids before they head back to class in a couple of weeks. And there is more of this weather in store. I will have a look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back. The University of Regina is looking to throw a lifeline to several Afghan scholars in Qatar. The women were on university scholarships funded by USAID. With the scuttling of that program, they now face deportation. Katie Swires has the story.
What would happen if you did return to Afghanistan?
There is no way back to Afghanistan, especially for us that even I don't have any relatives in Afghanistan.
Neelab has been studying computer science for 3 years. She's speaking to us from her dorm room at the American University of Afghanistan in Qatar. Neelab is not her real name. CBC News has agreed to hide her identity because both she and her sister might soon be forced to leave.
It was like the end of our hope that we won't be able to continue our education, as well as we won't be surviving in Afghanistan.
The sisters are among 25 women hoping to come to the University of Regina after cuts to U.S. aid ended their scholarships, leaving them at risk for deportation. Neelab must leave Qatar in September.
Their scholarships were completely dependent and reliant on the USAID funding. And when that got defunded, so they were left basically to dry, and they're left without hope, certainty, or any light in their lives.
Women Leaders of Tomorrow helps pair Afghan women with scholarships in Canada and the United States. Together with the U of R, they're trying to raise $500,000 to cover the international tuition for the 25 women. The university will provide free housing and meal plans. So far, it says enough money has been raised to bring some of the women to Regina. But they'll only be able to get here if their study permit applications are approved.
Sadly, the refusal rate is very high, or these applications just don't get processed. They sit and they wait, and then the student by default doesn't get over here. So really, this is a federal issue at this point in time.
In a statement, Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada acknowledges longer processing times, but says all applicants must meet admissibility requirements. Neelab already had one study permit to the United States canceled.
But another hope is that Regina will help us to get our master's, not in America, but in Canada.
Katie Swires, CBC News, Regina.
Well, you know how the saying goes, better late than never, and that is definitely the case with the summer-like weather. It has finally really kicked into high gear as we've gotten through August here in the province, and even still at the supper hour into the 30s still in Regina. Let's take a look at some of the other daytime high temperatures that we saw across the province. 32, by the way, not the hottest that we got to in Regina. We did get to 34 on Tuesday afternoon. Much more comfortable as you go further north, though. Again, mid-20s for portions of northern Saskatchewan. That's a nice day there. Hottest temperature, actually not just in the province, but in the entire country, was in Val-Marie Tuesday, getting over 36 degrees there. And you factor in a little bit of humidity, and that felt closer to 40 in some parts of southern Saskatchewan in particular, again, closer to the international border. Heat warnings continue over the next probably day or so here before we get some relief. Definitely overnight Tuesday into Wednesday is going to be a warm one with a lot of locations not getting much below the 20-degree mark. So going to be a bit uncomfortable, especially if you don't have AC overnight. Again, the pattern for this warm weather, this hot weather, continuing into Wednesday. But for those of you who are not fans of the scorching heat, there is a breakdown in this pattern that's going to be coming Thursday into Friday. We do get a bit of relief and back to some more seasonal conditions. I think as we get into Wednesday, though, there is a better chance that we're going to see some severe weather. We've managed to avoid that by and large for Tuesday, but especially as we get into Wednesday morning, showers and thunderstorms, probably non-severe for western sections of the Churchill region, and then widespread thunderstorms as we get into later Wednesday. And again, it's more kind of closer to the Manitoba border and back through west central Saskatchewan that we could be seeing some storms with some large hail, heavy rain, strong winds. That whole low pressure system then kind of congeals into some heavier rainfall for northern Saskatchewan as we get into Thursday. The cold front from that system is what's going to bring temperatures down as we're left with some lingering cloud cover heading into Thursday and Friday. I think this might be a little bit of an overshoot in terms of precipitation totals here, but if we do see some heavier pockets of rain, particularly in parts of the far north, we could be getting maybe upwards of 30 millimeters plus in some areas. Key Lake and South End on that particular map seeming to pick up quite a bit. And with that low pressure system moving through, we are going to be picking up some winds as well over the next couple of days. A little bit breezy for southeastern Saskatchewan early Wednesday, but it's really Thursday and Friday that the winds start to pick up. There could be gusts in excess of 60, maybe even 70 kilometers an hour as we get through those next couple of days as that low pressure system moves through. Otherwise, still a humid day for Regina as we get into Wednesday. Notice how that cold front, though, really drops our temperatures as we get into Thursday, and it will also bring some very strong winds for us, as mentioned. Nice conditions for the weekend, actually, much more closer to seasonal, and it looks like the sunshine will stick around as things improve a little bit temperature-wise as we head into the beginning of next week. Showers and thunderstorms also possible for Saskatoon. The heat, not quite as intense for you folks there. And getting into the rest of the week, we'll be hovering around the 20-degree mark. A very windy Thursday in store before things return to normal with some sunshine for the beginning of next week and some more tolerable overnight temperatures as well. The Saskatchewan Roughriders returned to the practice field Tuesday after improving to 8-1 over the weekend. After back-to-back dominant performances, the Riders seem to be firing on all cylinders, except for veteran place kicker Brett Lowther. The Riders' kicker was 2 for 5 on Saturday. He now sits at 67% on the year, well below his 81% career average. In a season that has not met his expectations, Lowther is hoping he can turn it around soon.
If it was something I knew to fix, I would have fixed it a while ago. Yeah, I don't think it's one thing right now. It's just a ton of different little things, and like I said, it's just not good enough, and that's just kind of period after that.
No doubt, not the year he's wanted to have, you know, certainly to this point, but, you know, there's still a lot of ball left, but he's had a good couple days since the game, getting out and swinging it, man. So just staying consistent, you know, not trying to do too much.
Returner Mario Alford returned to the practice field in a limited fashion Tuesday. It is a positive sign he might return to the lineup this week. The Riders take on the Stampeders in Calgary this Saturday. One of Regina's most ambitious leisure projects is finally underway. Soil has been broken on the massive new indoor aquatic facility. The project includes 2 50-meter pools heated by a deep geothermal system, multiple water slides, and a wave pool. It will cost $313 million and will replace the Lawson Aquatic Center. It will also have dry land training space and an outdoor playground with a spray pad.
Excited, relieved that we got to this point where we actually moved some dirt today, and that you know, we can really feel the project starting to come alive now that we've broken ground. So yeah, it's an incredibly exciting day for the community, for Regina, and it just shows that Regina deserves nice things.
The federal and provincial governments are paying for about 1/3 of the cost, and the remaining $219 million is coming from the city. Construction is expected to take 3.5 years, with opening day sometime in 2029. Well, a day like this, when it gets this hot, calls for some emergency backup. And the Saskatoon Fire Department answered the call Tuesday, bringing out not 1, but 2 100-foot slip and slides at John Lake Park. The kids threw on their bathing suits and hurled down the hill, while firefighters used their hoses to give them some speed. Stay with us. We have a full look at what we can expect in the rest of the forecast after the break. A successful day for Team Saskatchewan at the Canada Summer Games. Tuesday, our province earned 2 silver medals in shot put, bringing our total medal count to 6. And there were wins in a number of events. Here's a look at what happened on day 11 in St. John's.
That ball is drilled and hit hard, way back into center field.
Week 2 of the games is now officially underway, and it's the women's turn to play ball. Team Saskatchewan won its first baseball game against Manitoba. The final score 8-5. Their next game is Wednesday afternoon against New Brunswick. The women were able to finish their game in the rain, but the men's softball team had their game postponed. They'll play twice on Wednesday to make up for it, facing Alberta first, then Quebec in the afternoon. No rain delay, though, inside for lacrosse. The men's team dominating their match against PEI with a final score of 18-1. They square off against Manitoba on Wednesday morning. And Saskatchewan also found success on the volleyball court. The men's team shutting out host Newfoundland, taking all 3 sets. They'll meet BC Wednesday morning for Game 2. And the women's team shut out Quebec Tuesday afternoon. They play Wednesday afternoon against New Brunswick, who lost their first game. Not a lot of relief from the heat expected through south and central as we head Tuesday into Wednesday. Look at those temperatures, only near 20 degrees overnight. Some of us could see a few showers and thunderstorms as well through the overnight hours. For central Saskatchewan, though, I think we're looking at a mostly clear night. A bit more comfortable as you head into the north, with temperatures generally between 10 and 15 degrees. Look for some showers beginning to move in, especially through the morning hours through western sections of the north. Again, the Buffalo Narrows area, La Loche, could be some thunderstorms embedded in there as well. Those showers starting to move eastward as we head through the day with temperatures into the low 20s. Another hot one expected for southern and central Saskatchewan. Again, we're starting on a bit of a cloudy note, but skies will clear as we get into the afternoon. Keep in mind, though, some showers and thunderstorms possible later in the afternoon hours. But again, temperatures into the low 30s in the south, could be feeling like 40 once again in some locations closer to the international border. And that is our news for this Tuesday. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.